Welcome to What the Flick, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Summer has taken hold here at What the Flick. No Christy Lemire, no Cenk Uygur, no Matt Atchity, but kind enough to join us. Jonathan Kim from RethinkReviews.net, also Huffington Post, also always a guest of the Young Turks on Fridays. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. Two movies this week, two, I think, fairly interesting summer releases, sort of in between the bigger action early releases or the 80s retreads, your A-Teams, your Karate Kids, the Get Him to the Greek, and then we have coming up the much anticipated Inception.
Yes, the second film that matters this year.
Right. What was the first one?
I'd say Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3, that one mattered?
Yes.
All right, okay. Well, these matter to us. Despicable Me and Predators. And up first, we'll do Predators, sequel to the 1987 film Predator. And Jonathan, not that I suspect people are going to be baffled by the story here, but what do we have with Predators?
See, actually, you pronounced it wrong. It's Predators.
It's
a romantic comedy with Katherine Heigl and Drew Barrymore and J-Lo. They're best friends who are unlucky in love.
I'm jealous of that line,
yes.
Jonathan. Nice job.
But of course, it's dreadlocked aliens who are fighting humans, and this time Adrian Brody, Topher Grace, Alice Braga, Lawrence Fishburne, Danny Trejo, and some other people who probably all make it.
Yeah.
So
the people whose names you don't know, they definitely survive.
So yes, this time this takes place not on Earth, but on an alien planet where these humans have been dropped and are trying to figure out what's happening, and soon realize that something foul is afoot. So let's go to the clip.
What's the last thing you remembered? All of a sudden there was a light, and then I was falling.
So who are you?
I was supposed to be executed 2 days ago.
And I was in combat. So was I.
Black Ops. Who would do this to us?
We were chosen.
Chosen for what?
We're all brought here for the same purpose. We're being hunted.
What?
This planet is a game preserve. And we're the game. What's the last thing you remembered?
So I'm correct, guys. Was there no music in that? Interesting, because sound very important in this movie. You heard sort of the death rattle of, and I don't think we're giving anything away.
Purr, the alien purr.
Right. That means the predators are lurking, and some of it reminded me of Lost.
In the beginning, there is definitely a sense of
sort
loss.
of these people thrust into a world they don't understand, into a world where there are clearly people, creatures who've been here first that they don't understand, and the whispering noises, creatures out in the wilderness that they don't
Yes,
get.
they're finding strange artifacts and objects everywhere. They're trying to figure out what all of them have in common. How were they brought here? What do they remember? And it is reminiscent of Lost.
Jonathan, you did not get as much out of this film as I did. What did you like about it? Let's start with that.
What I liked about it, it's very well shot. It's nicely shot on digital, and it looks very, the colors are very rich and it's dark. It really feels like a jungle. And in that sense, it's very much a return to the first Predator movie. In some ways, almost too much of a return. It almost feels like a reboot, but it's supposed to be its own original story. But I did like I did like very much the look of it. Other things I had a problem with, if you like hearing Adrian Brody imitate Clint Eastwood for an hour and 40 minutes, this is the movie you've been waiting for.
Funny, I hear you, and there is. I got used to his voice. There's a we need to stick together,
We need to stick together, though.
Well, then follow me. you know. But I took that more as that he was doing Christian Bale Batman.
Okay.
But either way, we both had the same issue, that there was something, and it didn't seem right coming out of Adrian Brody.
It seems like Adrian Brody trying to be an action
Right.
star instead of him being a character. I guess he needs to sort of pump up his badass sort of credentials because no one thinks action movie. Adrian Brody, right? The skinny guy from The Pianist.
But I think, and I saw it in a full house. I suspect you did as well. In a midnight showing, it was much fuller than I expected, and I don't think he needed to be that tough guy. I think I'm going to sneeze. I've always wondered why I don't sneeze more on live television. Like, how do I stop a sneeze on live? Why I'm not on CNN and I don't just sneeze? What keeps me from sneezing? And apparently, this will upset Anna. I'm thinking, it's just the Young Turks. What the flick? I'll just go ahead and sneeze. Anyway, excuse me. Thank you. So, like, I don't think, because I thought there was a sort of a winking, fun tone to this movie that didn't require Adrian Brody to Stallone it up.
Yeah, see, in my mind, it wasn't as fun. I mean, it wasn't fun, definitely not in terms of humor. There are a few...
I thought it was pretty funny. You didn't think it was funny?
There are a few jokes. I found the dialogue in general to be very leaden, and when the movie relied too much on dialogue or sort of little quiet moments where you get to know a little bit about the characters, it was still really just kind of blunt. And a thing for me is I felt like the movie was like the unforgivable sin of an action movie. A lot of parts of it were slow. I felt like the first 15 minutes was very much about people walking slowly and looking very slowly at things.
You know, I didn't, the movie opens and you got a reference to it there. I don't think we're giving too much away because they refer to it there in the trailer. You know, it's this suddenly falling to earth. It's the idea that these people are they essentially awake and they're in the air and they don't even understand how they're in the air. They pull their chutes, they land, they don't understand where the hell they are. So that sort of baffled walking about, I think that they share the same confusion that the audience shares, because I didn't know where they were, they didn't know where they were, and their own thought is, because there's some military people, there's some non-military people there, there's some criminals there, there's some war criminals there, and the idea is we just move and we try to figure out what the hell is going on. And I thought the use of silence was pretty good. And I didn't find the dialogue that wooden. At times, it was leaden, to use your word. But again, I thought there was always something funny. Topher Grace lent a not insignificant amount of comic relief to it. Danny Trejo, I thought, was pretty funny.
And that's interesting about Topher Grace is because when you watch the ad, I had no idea he was
Neither
even
did I.
in the movie until all of a sudden I saw him and I was like, that 70s guy. Like,
Right.
there he is.
That guy looks like Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought there were sort of light-hearted moments in the movie, and I could look at Alice Braga, Sonia Braga's niece, pretty much all day. I don't know. I thought there were sort of some nice moments and a cool premise. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't love it, and you knew where they were headed. The Predators are going to pick them off one by one, and it was a little fun thinking, you're next, you're first, you're going to be second, you're going to be third, you guys are going to be the last three. And then you'd be like, oh, I thought for sure. It's like watching The Bachelor. I totally thought you guys were going to be in the last three. It was like LeBron.
Right.
You're like, Cavaliers, Knicks, Heat. Oh, he eliminated the Knicks.
So you were in the midnight show. I think I was in the 12:15 show. That was also at the same theater. Because at times in the movie, I heard groans, and towards the end as well. And which, I mean, that was obviously the crowd that was going to be liking the movie, wanted to like the movie the most. And I definitely got that sense. And there's some things, like, as much as I thought it was beautifully shot, it's nice and dark and atmospheric and everything.
I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Nimrod Antal. Well, yes. I'm sure it's not Nimrod.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I thought it looked nice, and I thought it was paced pretty well. I'm going to agree with you that as many of these movies, they disintegrate into a very expected stage of predictability toward the end.
Yeah, and I thought there were some things where, I mean, and this is an unfair comparison, but on this alien planet, looks like Earth. There's no like weird animals running around.
Yeah, but that's part of what was great. Like, where are they? it seems like Earth, and then the moment when we realize it's not Earth, and we can give that away because it says in the trailer, this is not our planet, that you realize when they discover how it's not Earth, it's a rather impressive moment. I like it.
It's a neat sort of crushing moment for them when they're like, oh my God.
Because if you give the idea that these people, and I don't want to give it all away, that there's something about hunting involved here, they want the prey, the predators want the prey to be in an environment of comfort. You know, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
And there's a game aspect to this. And
although, I think
it sounds like I like this movie more than I did. I'm just, because you didn't seem to like it at all, I'm arguing with you.
I liked it a little bit. There was something, I mean, there was a few moments of CG that looked a little weird. I think a lot of it was just hearing Adrian Brody whisper for so much of it. Really started to get to me after a while.
We got sidetracked there. I got used to that. Like, I'd say about halfway through, right around when Larry Fishburne showed up. Lawrence Fishburne, sorry. I sort of, I decided that was okay. It didn't really bother me. Although I don't even think he was a bad choice. I just don't understand why he wasn't kind of a special op killer and great at his job, but don't be someone you're not. Like, be the special op killer who's still capable of winking at a girl. You know, the charming special ops killer. And I don't think they all have to be tough guy badasses with no sense of humor, because I thought everybody else displayed some sense of ease. Really, everyone else.
Except for the Japanese guy.
Yeah, but there was a moment.
He speaks twice.
Even a couple of times we heard he barely spoke.
Right.
One actor I do want to mention before we wrap this up and give our grades, because you mentioned you mentioned Alice Braga, you mentioned Adrian Brody, you mentioned Topher Grace. Who the hell else did you mention? You mentioned Lawrence Fishburne, Danny Trejo. But Walton Goggins is in this, and Walton Goggins is a great actor who I think perhaps unfairly, also because he's so good at it, he's sort of stuck playing psychopathic criminals. In The Shield, he was a racist, murderous rogue cop. In Justified, the FX series with Tim Oliphant, which is just based on Elmore Leonard character, which is just tremendous. And anybody who has an opportunity to see Justified ought to. He plays a racist, convicted West Virginia Kentucky neo-Nazi.
Wow. Got a lot of stuff going on there.
And then here he plays a death row, seemingly racist death row killer. I suspect that there's a lot more that Walton Goggins can do. I think he's a really interesting actor, and I think he was good in this too. All right, what's your grade?
Well, I mean, the reviews I've been reading, the ones that have liked it said, well, it's certainly a lot better than Predators 2 or Aliens versus Predator. And yeah, it kind of comes back to the first one, but I think that you'd probably be better served just watching the first one again, which we talked about this earlier. You don't particularly care for that movie, but I like it. And judging, like I said, from the reaction of the audience for especially towards the end where there were some kind of groans, like, I'm not sure if it might be mediocre for hardcore fans, but not like, yay, Predator's back. It's the better of a lousy bunch, I think.
So what'd you give it?
I gave it a 4.2.
You know, you saw it in Santa Monica near the ocean with the snooty, living on the ocean types. I saw it in the middle of L.A., about 2.5 miles inland. More down-to-earth, middle-of-America people. They liked it. There was some applause throughout. I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. I think it's worth seeing. I think the original, wow, it has some cultural, iconic, a word I'm tired of using, status. I think it is a hokey, totally forgettable 80s movie that just because it's Schwarzenegger using a machine gun, people love it. I think this is considerably better than the first one. I gave it a 6.0. I think unquestionably Predators is worth seeing if that's your kind of genre. That pulls the overall score on Predators to a 5.1. So just barely.
Barely go see it.
We are recommending Predators. All right, there you go.